Okay, in this section, we will talk about traffic and monetization in Chapter 2 Tactics. Let me first talk about a pain point that almost all adults have a deep understanding of, which is making money. As long as every industry makes money, the core of making money in anything is a difficult word. Okay, so according to our previous methodology, what should we do with difficult things? To break it down, break a big problem into 10 small problems and then solve them one by one. If it is difficult, then dismantle it. If it is still difficult, continue to dismantle it. Keep dismantling it, and you will be able to get it done. For example, you will find it difficult to listen to any pianist's music. Oops, why is it so long and complicated? You have to use two hands to cooperate, and your two hands play differently. How can you remember it? It doesn't matter. You can break it down. If a song is too long, just use one section. If a section is too long, use one section. If one section is too long, just use one note. Do it one by one. Isn't that how complex the music is connected? You can even think about it while playing. What should you eat at night? Should you eat chicken feet with pickled peppers? Or should you order takeout and get local fresh food? Even if you close your eyes and want to take a rest, your hands can play automatically, and you may fall asleep while playing. This is the power of disassembly. No matter how complex the machine is, it is composed of parts. Then there are only two things you need to do if you want to make money. First, how can we get as much traffic as cheaply as possible? Second, how to monetize this limited traffic to make as much money as possible. Today, we are going to talk about traffic and monetization. I will dismantle it step by step. Use this principle and methodology to restore every link in this complex machine, and tell you what a rigorous and scientific operation step should look like. Let's talk about traffic first and acquire massive customers at low cost. Let me talk about a principle first, that is, it is actually easy to acquire customers, but it is difficult to acquire them at low cost. And this is precisely one of the keys to making money, because only if your cost is lower than others. There is no way to balance it through simple parameter fine-tuning. I have written an article before about why high quality and low price are useless, which explained this problem in detail. You can read it first. It is clear that the product is of high quality and low price, but it is a huge loss. It is clear that the price is reasonable, but consumers do not buy it. Is the market wrong? No, the market was right. The story was wrong. The story is a fairy tale version, only divided into good guys and bad guys. The protagonist is a good guy, and the opponents are all bad guys. It's so cheap here that I can barely afford to eat, but consumers think it's okay. All household items are almost subsidized. It's not really effective. Unlike storytelling, business is serious and reality is three-dimensional. There are never good guys and bad guys, and there is always all-round competition. All dimensions can be used, as long as they are calculated as prices. And prices can also be reversed, as long as they are calculated on each dimension. When you lag behind your competitors in various dimensions, such as visibility, channels, or marketing, the extent of price reduction may not be able to make up for this gap, even if the other dimensions are exactly the same. There is a paradox that it is impossible to make money by lowering prices. If lowering prices can make business prosper, if it's that simple, can competitors also lower prices? Isn't it just to change the price, and I can grab your share immediately? The so-called profit essence is the part where you surpass your opponent, if you can do it. But he can't. It is your profit. Everyone buys a bag for 50 and retails for 100. So no matter how you adjust the price or make small profits but quick turnover, you will never be able to win. You can sell the same goods cheaper than him, and your profit can be the same as his, or even a little bit more. This is truly high quality and low price. If a simple price reduction was effective, others would have already done so. So why not do it? Because I can't bear it. The ex-factory price to the retail price of many products has to be doubled dozens of times. This is not just for profit, but to cover the costs of every link. Otherwise, it will be impossible to make a profit at all. Price has nothing to do with conscience. It only depends on the market. Price reduction is equivalent to kindness, and the essence is ignorance and laziness. After reading this, we thought about a question. What is the essence of so-called obtaining traffic? It is exchange, and its essence is an exchange. That is, either exchange money or exchange content for money. What means? Money is your time. What is the content? Content is also your time. So essentially it depends on where you spend your time. It is more valuable. Many people do it with money. They use money to buy traffic. Of course, this is possible. This is to calculate the input-output ratio. But there is a problem. That is, money is owned by everyone. As long as you can spend it, your opponents can also spend it. So even if there is an arbitrage space, its time window is very limited, and it will be easily caught up by its opponents. In the end, it will be back to the same traffic to see who has better liquidity. And monetization is what we're going to talk about next. So if you really want to build barriers to traffic, a better way is to use content and provide value to the platform in exchange for the exponential spread of the algorithm, and use the power of the platform to accurately reach your target customers. And you know that the content is a non-standard product. If he plagiarizes you, he cannot surpass you, and if it finds another way, there will be various unknown risks. This is the benefit of traffic barriers. Okay, now that we understand this, let's enter the first section of the traffic chapter. 5 steps to build a personal brand, which is also a personal IP. First, we think about a question. Why must we have an IP? Because profit means brand equals premium, equals profit. Without a brand, it is equivalent to a foundry, which is equivalent to working hard, but not enjoying the premium. So what's the key to making money? It is to surpass the opponent, and this is precisely the value of the brand. Without a brand, it means cheap labor. For example, Apple's gross profit margin is 38%, but the gross profit margin of the foundry is only 3%. Then for the second question, just create an IP. So why does it have to be a personal IP? In order to close a deal, decision-making requires information costs due to information asymmetry, and people equal trust. For example, let's take a company. What is our intuitive feeling about a company? It's a cold machine with no temperature. He is not one of our kind, and we will not resonate with him. But if it is a person, he has warmth, feelings, and a face that gives people a sense of trust. He is one of our kind, we will resonate with him, recognize him, and like him. Let's take an example. For example, many times when you buy a very expensive thing, such as a car, I like this guy, right? I trust this person, and I place the order. Although you are dealing with the company, at the micro level you are dealing with the person in the company. And it is the same when buying insurance, right? Is there any difference between this insurance? Many people don't know that, right? Just put 20 copies of the product manual, and you won't know which one is good and which one is bad. Then why did you buy insurance from this company? Many times it is because you trust the person who sells your insurance. Another example is the letter of commendation. When you are helped somewhere, you will not thank the company. You will more often thank the person in the company. Out of gratitude to someone, you write a letter of praise. You rarely say that you should change the object of direct praise to this company. This is also human character. There are also some advertising endorsements. That is, why do some companies need to find a person, a living person, to endorse them? Because people have warmth, it can resonate with us. This is the key. To give another example, many people may not have any feelings for Starbucks, but he'd love a latte there, just the name. Many people didn't care about Universal Studios, but he especially wanted to see Megatron. This is the human temperature, the resonance that human beings bring to us. Now that we understand why we need IP and why we need personal IP, we will now enter a practical link, which is how to build a personal IP in 5 steps. There are 5 points in total. The first is positioning theory, and the second is real person take the spotlight. The third one occupies the mind. The fourth one provides value, and the fifth one analyzes the opponent. Let's talk about them one by one, starting with positioning theory. There are 3 parts in positioning theory, namely the essence of positioning, the strategy of positioning, and the basis of positioning. Let's talk about the essence of positioning first. The essence of positioning is 3 equal signs. In the user's perception, thinking of you means so and must be so and so. The first one is that there is a super formula called pain point plus plan, which is very effective. That is, you tear apart his pain points, and then you provide him with a solution, which is very Very effective. Let's take a look at the super formula. For example, fear. Fear is a pain point. Fear equals loss. If you are afraid, then you can use me. You can find many classic advertisements. For example, if you drink Wong Lao Cat to avoid getting angry, your turnover will reach RMB 20 billion. For example, if you are afraid of cross-infection, use Yankee Medical. For example, if I'm afraid of sucrose, I'll drink Jana. If I'm afraid of the cold, I'll wear Arctic Velvet. I also have a BBK reading machine. My mother no longer has to worry about my studies. In essence, it is all about fear. I will reveal the pain point of fear, and then I will provide you with a plan. If you are afraid, you will feel the same as me. This is the first point of fear. There is also the second point, thinking. Thinking is equal to desire. If you want, then you use me. For example, if you want good skin, use Dabao in the morning and evening, hot, cold, sour, and sweet, and eat it whenever you want. Earl travels to shoot wherever he wants. This is second thought, also a pain point. There is a third one, what to do. What to do? It's also a pain point. What should I do? In other words, when you encounter a problem, just come to me. For example, what should I do if I feel tired or sleepy? Drink Red Bull. For example, in terms of excavator technology, which company is better? Shandong Technical School looks for Lanxiang. For example, if you use your brain often, drink 6 more walnuts. There is also an enlarged version of onychomycosis. I will first provide you with a pain point, then enlarge it and ask you what to do. Hey, I don't know what to do, so just use me. If you look at the classic advertising slogan, if you get onychomycosis, one person will infect 2 people. If you magnify it, ask me what to do. Use nail polish immediately. This is a super effective formula that provides pain points plus solutions. By using this formula and adding repetition, you can equate your product with this need in the user's mind. Okay, now that we've talked about the essence of positioning, let's talk about the second point, positioning strategy. The positioning strategy is actually just one sentence, be the number one in the segmented field. First of all, number one. Why should we be number one? Trout's core philosophy is to be no. 1, preferably no. 1 in sales. If not, no. 1 in technology. If not, no. 1 in performance. And if not, find a blue ocean to be no. 1. But it must be no. 1. The next question is, how to do it in a segmented field? First, there are 2 ways. One is to find gaps, and the other is to cross boundaries. Let's talk about the blank first. A blank is to find a specific pain point that others have not touched upon. You cook everything spicy from beginning to end. I am the first person to cook spicy Sichuan cuisine on TikTok. This is to find a gap in the subdivision field. The other is to do cross-border, which creates a brand new category through cross-border integration, making it highly identifiable. For example, there is a guy named Grumpy Finance on the internet who teaches financial knowledge. How did he cross the border? He talks about finance, and he is the best person to listen to liars when it comes to finance. And he has the most bad temper. He crosses these 3 points. There is also a man named He Kinglin. What does he do? He also talked about finance and talked about a lot of financial terminology. But he specialized in terminology. The key point was that among the terminology, he said that doing housework is the most virtuous. This is a new crossover too. Let's take a look again. There is another great power, right? He is a watch player, this buddy, and when he was a watch player, he said that crosstalk was quite easy, and it was the most imaginary of these things. He established a new cross-border IP, and a car repairman. His name is Liu Yang. I don't know if you have ever seen him, but I think this person is very interesting. How to do his crossover I First of all, he understands cars, and among those who understand cars, he has the best acting skills and can show you a movie. After reading it, like me, who is face blind, I will find that, this is actually one person. That is, he plays 2 roles, plays a story with a plot, and then slowly tells the whole content expand. He has the best acting skills, and not only is he good at acting, he also knows the language of movies best. Hey, one is cars, one is acting, and the other is the language and shooting of movies. When these 3 cross boundaries, he is unique. Then we can take a look. Yes, for example, if I have a budget of 1 million, which one should I choose between Mercedes-Benz S, BMW 7, and Audi A8 to go home for the new year? First of all, exclude Mercedes-Benz. If you are young, you can drive an S-Class home. All I need is a pair of white gloves. Otherwise, the folks in the village will think that you brought your boss home for the new year. Yes, no matter what, I am also very talented, and you actually said that I look like a driver. I know you are handsome, but handsomeness and aura are two different things, right? I suggest you check out A8, but that won't work. Do a 6 and A8 look alike? But the grandparents in our hometown can't tell the difference. The boss can actually do it. Is the budget I asked about 1 million, surprisingly? This low-end 740 does not have 4-wheel drive. Okay, we just briefly watched a section. After watching a section, if we look forward, you will find that the entire shooting is in constant iteration. Just now we saw its most recent style. Let's take a look at its slightly earlier style. When the parking chassis makes a sound like this, how to repair it depends on the situation and when it makes the sound. How did it ring? It just made a squeaking sound when passing a speed bump. Check the lower swing arm rubber sleeve and the shock absorber bottom rubber. If there is a buzzing sound when shifting gears, then it is the engine legs and gearbox legs. There is a buzzing sound when running. You will find that there are some differences between the two styles. Let's take a look further. For example, this. Hey, I almost didn't turn off the air conditioner just now. Wait, I will wear out the engine. No. There will be a 3 to 5 second delay in starting the air conditioner compressor every time it is restarted after a power outage. Even if it doesn't harm the car, will the residual moisture in the air conditioning evaporator box and pipes breed bacteria and cause harm to the body? Hey, isn't it? Last time when the air conditioner was being repaired, a song of makeup was used to blow it for you, but you still had the nerve to say it hurt your body. For example, if you look at the camera and do sightseeing like this, if you have a car, you will make the following 3 mistakes, especially the third one. Very strong identification. The examples we just mentioned are all number 1 examples of niche areas. That is why we should never go big and comprehensive. Its essence is a counter-trend because everyone's time is becoming increasingly scarce. Don't try to solve so many problems for me. I think this is the problem. I will come to you for anything related to this thing. This way he saves time and cost. The second demand is more and more individual. Just remember this sentence. Suitable for everyone means not suitable for everyone. There is nothing suitable for everyone. Third, everyone's trust requirements are getting higher and higher. If you know everything, it means you are not professional in anything, so you must find something that belongs to you. And this must be done thoroughly. You want to ask a question. The Spring Festival is coming soon. Why is he always scolded during this Spring Festival gala? What do children like? Things like cartoon dolls. What do teenagers like? Idol groups. What do middle-aged people like? Things like emotional careers. What do older people like? Folk music. You can't satisfy everyone's needs at the same time. It's totally inappropriate. Same. Okay, get this. Let's look at another detailed issue, which is how to write the name and introduction. Generally speaking, there are 2 principles when applied comprehensively. The purpose must be clear, and the means must be differentiated. What is a clear purpose? Just what are you or what to do and what problems you can help users solve must be clear. What does differentiation mean by means? Even if everyone else is doing it, then I am different. If no one else has done it, then I will be the first. I cannot be the same as your opponents and must be differentiated. There is a realm here, that is, never use the name of a company. You, the protagonist, must be a human being, not a certain company. Even if you are a business owner, you still need to do it in your own name. As we just said, people equal temperature, which is exactly what enterprises don't have. We don't need machines, we need people. People of flesh and blood, people with emotions. Okay, now that we've talked about positioning strategies, let's look at some of the basics of positioning. What is the basis of positioning? Whatever you have, just look at what you have first, and then what to do with it. For example, if you have professional knowledge, what is professional knowledge? Food that tastes good is a very important foundation. Let me give you an example. Enk. Many people have touched him. How does he feel? Hello everyone. My name is Enk. Oh, look at our belly pork. It's all meat. Cut it up for you and eat one. The clothes he wore were very exotic, and when he ate meat in the yurt, it felt very, very fragrant, and it instantly brought you into that scene. In the end, everyone felt that Enk equals fragrance, Enk equals grassland, Enk equals good mutton, and Enk equals inner Mongolia style. Look at what I have there. Meat. That's all. Nothing else. So why does he have so many fans? Then why do you have such a large sales volume? It's expressiveness. If you talk about the same thing to another person who is a little stiffer, a little less tasty, a little less sincere, a little less like an inner Mongolian man, the effect will be greatly reduced. This is expressiveness. In other words, you have a skill. For example, I can communicate, draw, take care of children, make various combinations, knit, or even do dimensionality reduction output. Dimensionality reduction output is also very important. For example, you look for people who are not as good as you. You go and tell them the same knowledge to fill this information gap. For example, there are many people who want to make TikTok now. They don't learn Teacher Cherry's methodology, nor do they learn various complex operating techniques. He just wants to know how to publish. Where do I click to publish? How do I check my page views? How do I check the basic rules and basic operations? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is like a beginner's guide to computers, right? If you think it is very easy to install antivirus software. But the elderly don't know how to turn on the computer. How to open the web page? Well, there is such a demand. This is what the output is. How will you output it in this market? It can also be a skill, or you have unique resources. This is also your unique experience, or in other words, you have a unique resource. For example, our specialty here is local eggs. Our specialty here is Russian oysters. These are all unique resources. Depending on what resources you have and what you have, then expand and see how to do it, okay? Let's talk about the second point of personal branding, real person appearances. Why is there so much emphasis on real people appearing? There are always people who say, "Oh, can you think of me not appearing on camera?" Generally speaking, I suggest that if you don't want to appear on camera, then don't do it, right? Because there are several very serious problems with not appearing on camera. Machines equal retardation. This classmate Shao I asks you a question. Do you think you are smart? No, that's a retard. If you say it a little more complicatedly, or if you change the context a little, he won't know what you're talking about. The same goes for Siri. Is he intelligent? If you are not smart, you will fight. If you look at how a guy like Siri behaves, do you think this guy has something wrong with his brain? No one can talk to Siri about these things. The commercial looks cool, but in essence, it is still a retard. This is a defect of the machine, and the machine is still furious. For example, if you make a phone call to make a complaint, the other party will reply, "Dear customer of this machine, we care about your complaint. Dear, if you are respectful, you should not ask the machine to reply to me. If you care, you shouldn't look for the machine. The machine will make you angry." No one likes to deal with machines. Machines are so cold, and so on. Dear customer, if you find a person and just say a few words, it will be better than the cold feeling of a machine. If you don't like the machine will not be able to shift into gear. For example, what is an AI anchor? Can you use an AI anchor? You see, the technology is very mature now, but it is immature. Our perception of micro-expressions is very, very detailed. What are micro-expressions? That is, you will see the performances of some actors, even if the smile is a little off. There can be 100 kinds of smiles. These things are currently not possible for anchors. For example, if I talk about this thing in front of you very vividly now, then it would actually be okay if it turns out like this. But when we talk about this, you will think that this guy is mentally ill. This is the AI anchor. My lip syntax and various things don't match. I feel like this is playing on my feelings. We like to deal with real people, and we don't like to deal with a virtual setting program. Dealing with machines. Remember, no one likes machines. What do we need? We need someone with warmth and character, even if he has shortcomings. What is important to a person? The important thing is that you have a face, and it is your face that I recognize. If you have this face, you will not run away easily. You must be responsible for your face. This is the basic sense of trust. We are the same kind. I will trust people, and we will have a basis of trust. So not appearing on camera is equivalent to giving a discount. What does the second one mean that you can't remember it if you don't show up? Your stuff is very well shot, the images are beautiful, the camera work is cool, the pacing is awesome, and the copywriting is awesome. Then, who knows if it's you? Can someone else make a copy of it that's exactly the same? Do you know it was taken by this person? This director's style is really good. So, were this movie and another movie played by this same actor? Have no idea. What you remember are some technical details, and it is difficult for these details to form unique memory points, which is different. Let's see. What does this face feel like? Hey, this actor, he plays this role very well. I just like his face. We need to remember faces. Faces are what people remember. If we can't point them out, it means we can't remember them. The third point is that not appearing on camera means being plagiarized. As I just mentioned, your graphics, shots, rhythm, and copywriting can be good, but they can be copied, and if you can't find any reason, if others imitate you, you will have a problem. That makes perfect sense. You can use this shooting style. It's okay too. So how do you develop this recognition? How to make it impossible for others to imitate, but the face is different. There is no way to imitate the face. If a person wears the same clothes and hat as Mr. Cherry, let me tell you, he will think that this copycat seems a bit low, right? When you see a copycat celebrity or a copycat Andy Lau, you will feel low. Or if you make it and it is copied immediately, what should you do? My next point is point 3, occupying the mind. The brain is a mind, and we have to occupy its left brain and right brain. What are the left brain and right brain respectively? Let's talk about the right brain first. The right brain is in charge of images and emotions, and the left brain is in charge of words and rationality. How do we handle images and emotions? Visual hammer. What is a visual hammer? In layman's terms, it's an iconic thing. It's just a picture to remember what you look like. Let me give you an example. Just Teacher Cherry's hat, Yan Bojan's hand, right? The yellow of the big logo, or the penguin of Tencent, the dog of JD, Calm, the cat of Tmall, the hook of Nike, or the avatar of Lao Gamma, the photo of the boss of Wenfeng International. Or for example to scenes of red cans, or yellow film, Kodak, or blue liquor. These are all iconic things related to images, allowing you to remember them quickly. Let me give you an example. For example, there is an international committee for the relief of the wounded. What does it do? You don't know. But if I tell you that it is the Red Cross, you will know what it does when you look at the Red Cross. This is a symbolic thing that makes others remember you at once. Then why is the visual hammer so effective? Because of our brain's processing priorities, pictures take precedence over text. Take traffic lights, for example. Why do we use traffic lights? Why not use words? For example, forward, stop, wait. Can this be done? No, because once you change it to text, the processing complexity will be much higher, and the traffic accident will be a straight line sign. But if you change it to an image, then change it to a color, red, yellow, and green will be fine, and the efficiency will be much faster. Even if you are driving and the black and white text on it stops, you have to think about what it is for. What do you mean by stop? Stop is one more conversion for me to stop. So the reason why visuals are effective is because your image processing priority is limited to text. So you must have your own visual hammer, something more iconic for others to remember. Okay, after talking about the right brain, let's talk about the left brain. As I said just now, the left brain is in charge of words and rationality. What does this mean? Thought is to say, what needs do you solve? Summarize your positioning in one sentence and what you do. For example, there was a joke recently for rural areas that are very popular on TikTok. Look at so and so. To find projects, look at so and so. To improve awareness, look at so and so. To learn marketing, look at so and so. That is to say, these accounts solve such problems. A very simple sentence, such as drinking Red Bull when you are sleepy and tired, drinking Wang Laoji when you are afraid of getting angry, and only accepting melatonin as a gift. That is to say, if you have the need to feel tired, then you drink Red Bull. If you are worried about getting angry, drink this. If you have the need of giving gifts, then buy melatonin. It is a clear positioning that tells you what it does in one sentence. The same goes for cars, such as BMW. What kind of control does BMW mean? Mercedes-Benz equals comfort, appearance equals safety, Lamborghini equals adrenaline, Jeep equals off-roading, and Rolls-Royce equals aristocratic status. So what is the essence of this text? The equal sign is drawn through repeated repetition, which means repeating it over and over again to make the user give up thinking. No need to think about it. As soon as you have this need, you will immediately think of the usefulness of a wordsmith like you as soon as you mention this thing. In other words, let's sum it up. You treat the brand as a person, but don't treat it as a brand, but as a person. What does this visual hammer solve? As for what this guy looks like, you want me to remember what you look like now, right? Long hair, short hair, big eyes, small eyes, with or without glasses, what to wear. Let me remember what you solved. As for what this guy does he play with air conditioners? Does he help me with housework? Helps me drive? Or does he help me solve a certain problem? Put these two together, and you have a complete crowd. Which is the visual hammer plus the text nailed it. Next, let's talk about the fourth point, providing value. If you want to build a personal brand, you must continuously provide value. It means you need to combine your positioning theory to continue to meet the needs of a certain segment. We will discuss this specific content piece in detail. We focus on answering a question here, which is a question that many people cannot avoid. That is, what should users do if they are tired? You are providing value and constantly providing value. But one day your user feels tired of your value. He doesn't want to watch anymore. He needs new stimulation. What should he do if he needs to watch someone else? For example, songs are prone to this kind of problem. At the beginning, we listen to a piece of seaweed, right? And then let's learn how to meow together, right? Going forward, the spring breeze does not understand the style. It blows the hearts of young people, right? Further back, let's swing the oars. Then there's the Mohi dance hall. And then there's Mr. Zhang's BGM, right? Do you still hear people singing that meow? Anyone else take up the skulls? There are still people singing about the spring breeze and the unintelligible style. It has not disappeared. It has disappeared. Everyone is no longer interested and tired. I need new things to stimulate me. So what if your stuff turns into this kind of song? What should users do if they feel numb and tired one day? There are three methods. The first is to change the form. The second is to be a tool. And the third is to cross boundaries. The so-called changing the form is to give him new stimulation. For example, take Coca-Cola, his spokesperson. Sometimes Lu Han is the spokesperson, then Zhu Yilong is the spokesperson, Wang Zhengkai is the spokesperson, and Fahrenheit is the spokesperson. Didn't you say it's still the same bottle of Coke? Hey, yes, just that bottle of Coke. But I am changing the Coke endorsed by a different spokesperson. It is not the same bottle of Coke. I am changing it to a stimulus package. In addition to being the spokesperson, you can also change the bottle, right? Can I get a thin bottle? Can he bring out a little fat bottle? Can I make a mini yar? Don't you think the contents inside are all the same? Hey, it's the same, but the bottle is different, which changes the excitement again. Another one is customization for festivals, such as Olympic gold cans, Winter Olympics outfits, and World Cup outfits, right? Do you think it has the same taste? It has the same taste, but with different packaging. It is something different. This is to change the form and generate new stimulation through the new form. Then the second thing about making a tool is to continuously stimulate it. Take Teacher Cherry, for example. Teacher Cherry has never changed her form, right? It's just the same outfit from beginning to end, right? But why do so many people still watch it? Because I am constantly changing content and making tools. Everyone wants to know if I encounter an economic problem. What does Teacher Cherry think of this problem? How did Teacher Cherry answer a hot topic? Every day he comes up with something new under this form to stimulate it, which is a tool. For example, let's say there is a lawyer named Li Shufang. As a tool, he basically has no changes in the form of oral broadcasting. But he keeps talking about various hot topics. If everyone finds such a hot topic, how does he interpret the law? How does he interpret the law in this hot topic? This is a tool. For example, Yan Bojan wanted to teach physics, and everyone discovered that a new term came out. A term for physics. What's going on? I want to hear your explanation on how carbon dioxide turns into starch. What's going on? Can you give me an answer? What happened to the James Webb Telescope? Why did it take so long to work on it? Can you explain it? This is a tool. When I want to know what's going on with this thing, I can't help but watch how you explain it. You constantly help me solve one problem after another in the form of tools. No matter how good your work is, I need your continuous stimulation. It's a bit like this rice, right? You may get jealous if you eat this vinegar-braised pork ribs, and you may vomit if you eat any vinegar, but you won't vomit if you eat rice. He is a basic need. Another one is cross-border, which creates new subdivisions. For example, there are many has-been singers, but you will find Tenger very interesting. What ish? He used to sing majestic grassland songs, right? What is he singing? No? Singing Gone 105 Degrees. He sang The Invisible Wings. And he turned out to be one. It was sung by a weak little girl, which created a new excitement and a new scene. Everyone thinks it's so interesting. It's not bad. You can sing such a song with this kind of voice. Hey, it's very flavorful. These people may not have heard much of Tung Hua's previous songs, but everyone thinks this song is really good and really good. This is the new excitement. This is the new segmentation. Let's talk about the fifth point next, analyzing the opponent. There is actually a prerequisite for analyzing the opponent. That is, I suggest you watch 3,000 videos first, then watch them like crazy for 3 months without doing anything else. What is the use of this step? It is to establish the overall concept and establish the basic map. Think about a scene. For example, if you go to a strange place to do business, the first thing you do is soak there for 3 months. Use your feet to measure step by step. Feel the temperature of every inch and feel every detail. Feel every bit of humanistic style. Then slowly build a basic framework and have a three-dimensional understanding of the city. Only with the foundation can you generate ideas and inspiration. That is, you must be able to tell the characteristics of your opponent with your eyes closed. That's all. If you can't say it with your eyes closed, it means you haven't done your homework. With this premise in mind, let's talk about a few basic tools. This is actually very simple. For example, there are trembling hearts, trembling cha-cha, and flying melons. I won't go into detail on this. This is basically as simple as word, like a remote control that doesn't require a manual. You just intuitively know how to use it, and you just look up what you need. But we have to emphasize a priority, that is, thinking is superior to data, and data without thinking is worthless. If you look at specific data, it will only increase anxiety. You need to find the real and most critical key based on thinking, and then change it to suit you. Don't just stare at the data. Data is the result. Find the real reason. This priority matter is too abstract. We will find some examples later to explain this idea. Next, let's talk about some in-depth thoughts. That is, when you analyze your opponent, you must combine this positioning theory and carefully think about these issues. What is its industry segment? What are its advantages and disadvantages? What are its visual hammer and literal nail? What value does it provide? The reason why it continues to gain popularity. What is it? Also pay attention to two directions. One is that what I can learn from is mature, and I can use it. What detours did he help me take, and what things he helped me prove is feasible, that is, what I can learn from. The second is what I can break through, that is, what things he has not done or thought of. So the advantages I can build on are the ones I can break through. Remember two things, one is what I can learn from, and the other is what I can break through.